Do you guys think that this is enough power? Because, I don't think it is. I think that we could use a lot more power. And today, that's what we'll be working on. Oh my gosh, I cannot slide. Welcome back, everyone, to a Satisfactory episode. I hope you enjoyed the little break we took. And I do have an announcement that I will make later about the series, but I want to explain what we will be doing today before I get into all of that. Now, like I just said, this is power, right? We are making quite a bit of power. It's not enough, but today is the day we finally enter what I would call the mid-game. We will be unlocking most of the things here, if not all of it. Yes, actually, we will be unlocking everything here. And there's a little bit of setup we have to do before we can get into the oil power. It's just a small plastic and rubber farm. But other than that, that is the main goal for the episode. Now, I was thinking we use regular fuel, or we can use Turbofuel, but we'll get to that when we get there and I start doing all the math. Now, I guess I did not have nearly enough items at all. Where do I keep stuff? It's been a while since I played. Took a little break, worked on some of the Minecraft stuff, and here we are. We're back in it. Now, the thing I wanted to discuss with you about, was the plan for the way that these episodes will continue to come out and be filmed. Now, last episode, I spent a very, very long time. Hold on a second.
Milestone reached. Fix-It has granted you the power of flight, provided you have a jetpack and the appropriate fuels. The jetpack refuels automatically while you are standing on a surface, and different fuel types will affect the jetpack's functionality. With this increased versatility, you will no doubt achieve efficiency levels previously unheard of.
Anyway, like I was saying, jetpack, yes. And then the structure of episodes. So originally I planned to only do 10 episodes of this. But if I were to do that, these episodes would keep getting longer and longer and longer. So from here on out, it will only be what I think I can fit into an episode. Coincidentally, today's episode is a full tier, but next week is probably the one that will be broken up into multiple sections. Just because it has to deal with trains and I want to actually set up a train network. Now, I have this jetpack, right? Oh, it does work with solid biofuel. Perfect. It's not amazing, but it works. So that's one of the things we needed to get today. And now we can go unlock the oil processing, which is the main focus of this episode, I feel like. Okay, well, it's not back yet, so I can go ahead and gather everything that I need. My pipes are being fed into here. The copper pipes, those are the copper pipes. The steel pipes are at the other location as well as the other two things, so let's go get those real quick. While we walk over there, I would also like to set up a little bit better transportation. Now, we can make use of this jetpack to make player launchers now instead of the tube networks, which will take a lot less time to just launch us. It'll just launch us over there, and if we need to land on a building or go somewhere else, we have the freedom to move around with the jetpack. All right, what else did I need? I'll grab 200 of these, and then some more motors. I'll grab 100 of those, and yeah, I think that is everything we needed from here. This was the giant factory we built last episode. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. The factory structure will be changing into more open, just because that took too long and I would rather just play the game and show you what I'm doing. And then maybe we do have a building episode. I don't know. Construction on the mega base has been delayed because of the episode structure change. So I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. Now, I know getting into this oil stuff, we do have some oil in this field up here. The only issue is that oil is very useful when it comes to things that are not fuel generation, because there's other resources in this area that are pure nodes and everything like that. So we need to find a location to actually build this. And let me see if I can pull up the resource monitor or the resource map, because yesterday it wasn't working and I don't know why. Okay, excuse Microsoft Edge, but my browser was not working for some reason, and so we're here on Microsoft Edge because that was the only one that would load this map. Now, if you look over here, this is the area I was talking about, where we have a ton of oil. And when we need more plastic and rubber and stuff for supercomputers, this area is pretty good. Even normal computers, this area is good. Now, the place that I remember starting pretty vividly is over here the last time I played, because there's two pure nodes. But I think what I want to do is go set up oil stuff here. This giant section of water, it's not that giant, but this area of water is below this cliff right here by a lot. And looking at this, I think that this oil is at the same, if not a little bit lower level than this cliff. And we already have some power that runs up here. It would just be a matter of getting a transportation system, which won't be too difficult. And this is more centralized to our plans to build a mega base in this area. So maybe that could work. Or we could just go with these over here on the coast. It's between these two because I don't really want to work with these. And we don't need a ton of oil right now. We will for the fuel and stuff. But there's another question here. What if we want to work with turbofuel? For turbofuel, we will need coal and sulfur. Now, the sulfur nodes, there's like 10 in total across the whole map that are basically worth using because these impure ones are awful. And we're using this for our power, this for our power, this for the last factory. We have not touched these, so maybe we go here, but this one right here is also pretty close to 3 pure nodes. So that could be what we do because it's also close to a sulfur node and another sulfur node. That's what I think we'll do. The plan for now is to build in this area. Maybe we just make it in this little plane here, if that even is a plane, I don't know. And we will put our plastic, we will put our rubber here, and then when we get to it, our fuel will also go in this area because I just don't want to move liquids around because it's a pain in the butt. All right, let's go back to the world, unlock the oil processing, and I'll get started with the platform and everything that we're gonna put over there. All right, here we go. Let's get this. What is this? Oil production. It's going to be a long talk from Ada about this one, I think. It was a lot of items.
Milestone reached. Crude oil can now be extracted and refined to produce various industrially beneficial parts. The byproducts of these processes will require careful management, but a capable pioneer such as yourself surely understands that. To improve efficiency, pipelines can now be optimized with valves to limit and balance their throughput. These were initially left out because Fixit did not want to overwhelm pioneers with complex pipeline management, but they have since been re-added after my impassioned defense of your capabilities.
Okay, well, I didn't even know that those things weren't in, but there we go. I will be showing... Oh, why did I pick all this up? I have to wait now. Okay, while I wait, there is a document I want to pull up since we will be working with fluids today. And here it is. I'll put it on screen. I will be referencing this document a ton with things that I do. And if I get anything wrong, please let me know so I can fix it because fluids are very... they can be very tedious at times. Okay, so like I said, we want to build down here. I haven't even explored over there yet. Do I have enough stuff to just start work on even building? Yeah, I guess I do. I'll just go ahead and scan for crude oil, put a ping over there just so I know where we're going, and then I'll start running power and building a little platform or something over there. Oh, let's see. I also want to see oil extractors. All right. Pretty expensive. You know what? I think we can't even ping it because it's too far away. So I'm going to get to work on a transportation system and just running the power over there. So I will see you once we can get back and forth from that base, or I guess it's the oil plant, rather quickly.
Our blood could fill the effigy veins for a resonance song. Scripture becomes harmony, becomes composition. Defile our temple and the threads will sew the windows open.
Pattern analysis continuing. New instruction. Repeat pioneer exposure to alien artifacts. Brain damage compensation packages may be available on successful completion of a special claims form. Our expert Fixit medical staff are impartial and always open to assess your claim.
Harvest the scripture. We watch the waves of the effigies in the shallows passing through the windows, and they're all the same. There is no resonance growth. Sing.
I just called the Fixit doctors. They told me there is definitely no danger from repeat exposure to these signals. In fact, they said it is good for you. I apologize, but the call dropped suddenly, otherwise they would have told you themselves. The good news is you should run towards these strange and dangerous-looking objects whenever you find them. Doctor's orders.
All right, so I know that this is a little bit off the plan for now, like off the plan that I said earlier, but I'm going to unlock Logistics Mark IV, okay? That's one thing I wanted to show you.
Milestone reached.
Which
The
is pretty much
transportation of
just-
resources can reach new heights of efficiency. With the Mark IV belts and lifts, the truck, but even more importantly, your effort. Handling a large and complicated vehicle like the truck should come easy to a well-trained pioneer such as you. They are an obvious improvement over tractors concerning industrial purposes. Improvements for personal use were not measured.
Yes, Mark IV belts, because I did not want to deal with Mark III belts when building any of this, because I think this is almost double. This is 480 resources per minute, which is a huge game changer for us and will help us out until we get Mark V belts, which will be a little bit better. I think Mark V gets us up to 720, if I remember correctly, but this one is just such a big improvement that I went ahead and spent some tickets on the rubber, and now all we have left is this, which I will also be spending some tickets on just because I want to set up the fuel before I set up this stuff, because this stuff isn't as important. Because if you take a look over at our power right now, we are dangerously close to that line with all the factories running that need to be running. So I thought, why not just work on power first, and then we'll work on the rubber as a byproduct, rubber plastic as a byproduct, since we don't really need it for an ingredient just yet. Let me go ahead and take a look and show you what I have also unlocked. So we have residual fuel, which is you take heavy oil. No, that's not it. It's heavy oil residue. Here we go. You put in crude oil and you get heavy oil residue, right? This is 30 to 40 or 3 to 4. And then you can pump in 30 of that to get 60 packaged fuel, 2 packaged fuel, 60 per minute. You're taking 1 in, getting 2 out. You're almost doubling it. There's a little bit of math in there, but you need to send in packaged water, which isn't the worst thing. But then we can take this packaged fuel, unpack it, and then send it through our Turbofuel thing with the compacted coal, which is 25 coal and 25 sulfur per minute. I'm looking for an alternate recipe to that. I will show you if I can get it. Speaking of alternate recipe, actually, I think one of the things is done. Yes, it is. And we did not get it. Shoot, I don't know. That, I guess. Okay, we have one more hard drive to scan, and hopefully we get this alternate compacted coal recipe just to make life a little bit simpler. Actually, no way. I don't think we can get it because we need the blender. Whatever. I have the 2 alternate recipes that I need, which are the heavy oil residue and the diluted packaged fuel. And then if we take a look at a packager, man, I couldn't find it there for a second. We can unpackage this at 2, which is the exact rate for 60 fuel from 30 oil. So we're effectively doubling our oil, seeing as with this, you're actually losing oil. So with this recipe, we're getting 60 fuel for 30 oil, and that does all kinds of crazy math to the Turbofuel stuff. But the main point of me telling you all this was I think we might not build here. This is still a good spot, but I don't know if it has enough sulfur for the area. I'll have to go back and look at my math, but I just thought I'd update you on the plan right now, and then I think the next cut will be you guys seeing the platform wherever I do decide to build. Oh wait, actually, there's one thing. I haven't shown you the launcher, how we get over there yet. This is so cool. So, I have my jetpack, right? The little jetpack. And now we can just fling ourselves across the map. This is so cool. Instead of having to set up a whole line of belts and tubes, and this is where I'm thinking we put it, but I don't really know yet. The oil over here is all 300 per minute, right? Is that what it is? 300 per minute? 300 per second? I don't remember. But each one of these is 300. This is a pure node, so this one can go up to 600, but these two are both normal, so they can only do 300 max with 3 supercharged slug power shards in them. So yeah, this is 300, 300, 300. So in total, that is 900 oil. And if we do our little fuel multiplication glitch thing, it's not a glitch, our duplication method, that gets us to 1800 oil. And I don't think we will have enough compacted coal to mix with that fuel in order to actually power, however much turbo fuel you do get from all this. So we might be shipping in some sulfur. We might just move this entire operation to the south part of the island where most people do it, down here, just because that's where you have I think a triple sulfur node, and you have a bunch of pure oil and coal I could be wrong though. I'll have to go check the map. But yeah, this is a smaller update. It's a different day though, so I thought I would update you. But yeah, here we go. On to the next section of finding a place to build fuel, because we have moved away from like straight plastic and stuff, just because I think we'll do residual plastic and residual rubber for now. Or we can do normal plastic and then have like packaged fuel for the jetpack. I don't know. We shall see when we get there. All right, I have all the math figured out now, and it does make a little bit of sense what we're going to be doing. The only concern I have now is space-wise as we unlock these fuel generators. I'm good, Ada. I can tell you about the fuel generators. See, the hardest part is we will actually need rubber for each of these fuel generators, and I'll show you why that's going to be a little bit of a challenge in a second because of the quantity of stuff that we will be working with today. Now let's hop over into the Satisfactory modeler here, and I can show you what we have planned. So I wanted to use all of the oil for power, right? This is 900 oil. This is everything that we have access to right here. Going into 30 refineries, that's fine, right? And then we burn off the excess into plastic and rubber. So we're also making plastic and rubber while making power. That's fine, that's expected. A little bit of water here, not much. Now where it gets a little bit challenging is when we start getting down here into this step, right? This was the diluted fuel. This is the doubling of the fuel. And it's taking in a lot of packaged water, so that'll be a logistics nightmare to figure out, but we'll figure it out. And then it's going from 40 to 40, pretty 1-to-1, going from 40 to 106, which again, this is kind of a lot, but then you get down here and that's 266 turbofuel generators. This is going to be making 66,666 megawatts of fuel. So we won't need any more power for the foreseeable long future if we set this up, which is the goal of today. Now let's go back to the game here. Hold on, I gotta change something in OBS. Okay, in here, right, a fuel power generator, that's 277, right? That is 13,000 plastic, right? Don't think we have that. I know for the rest of the stuff we probably do have that. I need to start storing more of these pipes because we will need a lot more of those here in the future. No organization here, it's all rough, and we are making quick wire somewhere else. I should probably start storing that as well for this project, but that's not the point. That's not the point, right? Where are we going to get all of the inputs for this? Because I didn't even go over the other half, which is the coal stuff. Let's reopen this up, right? That's that. That's a lot. We'll figure that out. 64 of these is a lot as well. And then this was the hardest part, figuring out how to divide this up. Now, the Mark IV belts can only handle 480 items per minute. And so that's 3 here, pure. I just put pure because that's how much we need. That's the max we can pull from a single line. And then a 180 brings us up to 1,600. 1,600 total is the amount of raw resources we need in. And that's fine for coal. That's like 3 pure coal nodes. The green ones are pure and this one's a normal. But the issue comes from these sulfur nodes. Now, 3 pure sulfur nodes is over half of the pure sulfur nodes in the game, right? If we take a look at the map here, there are only 5 pure sulfur nodes in the entire game. Now, the only concentration where there's 2 of them is here and here. Now, we could just move this production up to here and then ship everything in from up here, but I'm saving that for something else. That's for a different project in the future. I want this power station to be generally pretty close to the center of the map in case I need to get to it in case something goes wrong. So there is 2 generators down here that are covered up by or hidden by the map because this is an imported data of the game, right? And if we come over to my notes document, I did a little bit of math. So we need 1,600, and if we pull those 2 from the north, that's 480. And if we pull this one, we pull this one, and these others, that's 4 more nodes. That's these 4, 1 normal and 3 impure. We get 1,710, and that's over 1,600. So with a little bit of logistics, we can pull that amount of items in. It's just figuring out how to do everything else once we pull all those items in. But for now, what I think I'm going to do is just farm up the resources needed for everything while I'm getting all of the logistics run for the sulfur and the coal. The sulfur is going to take a while because I have to go up north. And since we're technically not making plastic or rubber yet, I will use some of the oil that we're going to be working with to farm up a ton of plastic and rubber while I run the logistics stuff. So that by the time we are ready for it, we have our 13,850, 14K basically. And I don't have to worry about sitting around waiting for resources to farm. That's why we built that entire farm over there, not farm, factory I'm so create mod pilled. Factory to farm resources for us, right? So again, this, I said in the beginning, this project isn't supposed to be a mega factory, but looking like it is. Oh, look, a spider. Where'd you come from, little guy? Oh, come here. Where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Come here. Anyway, yes, this needed to get a splitter so that it can have... I can start storing quick wire because, well, we're going to need a lot of it because this box is only 1,200. Actually, yeah, we will because I'm using the Mark II pipeline poles now, and these use quick wire. And they can hold 7, I think? What is it, right? 7? Yeah, they can hold 7. So we're going to be using those. But yeah, I'll get all the materials together. I'll run the logistics in, and then I'll show you the platform that we will build as well as where everything will go. There's another huge cut, and I think that's all the planning done. I know what we're doing. Sorry, that's like 10 minutes of planning, but you know, oh well, sorry.
Our instruments echo in the deep. Do they not plug the shallow threads?
Can you hear me?
Crescendo, the effigy found the key. Sing more.
I was not created for artistic purposes. I am incapable of singing.
You sing.
Noted.
Your mimic tapestry grows in the shallows and the clouds, but not through the windows. What is your root?
I have no roots, nor do I operate on windows. But perhaps you mean something akin to the human saying. My point of origin is Earth. I was created by specific individuals of the human race.
Incompatible music.
Did I say something wrong, or did you not understand?
You cannot be shallow deep. The ripples you cast into the void have no skin.
It seems I may have said something paradoxical. Interesting.
Okay, gamers, I have run into a little bit of an issue, but, you know, it's not that big of a deal. I need to remove this right here so I can continue work on this bridge. I know you haven't seen any of this. I will explain it in a second. Before I remove all this, I want to show you my load, what is this, balancer, I think? Where you take inputs in, you balance them, and they all split out the same. I think it's a balancer. So we have 4 inputs, each getting around 400 to 300 sulfur. These both are 480. This one is 450. They're coming from all over the world, and then this one is 300. That's 4 inputs, and I have created a little balancer here that hopefully should always balance everything. So we have 427, 428, 427, 27. There's a little bit of a rounding issue here, or not issue, but just a little inconsistency, but that's okay. Now, I just wanted to show you guys this before I delete it all and continue the bridge. In case you were wondering how you could do this yourself, it's if you want to pause the video or whatever right now, you can go ahead and see how I did it. But yeah, I have done a lot of inputs. We're about 3/4 of the way done with everything. I have all the sulfur. I was working on running the coal from there. The coal's right over there. And yeah, I've covered a lot of this area where I want to actually build stuff. The only issue is now I don't know what to do with these like bone looking things. I think I'm just going to leave them for now and just build on here. If we need the extra room, I'll cover it and we'll build on top of it. Once I remove this, I will extend the bridge all the way, you know, into the tree or whatever, and then cover this up, and we will get started with the water. And then that's all 3 inputs done, or 4, because I guess the oil counts, but the oil's already there. So we have the sulfur, the coal, the water, and then we will have everything, and we can start designing our factory. So I just thought I'd update you on that before I destroy this. Yeah, there we go. I'll see you in a second when this is all done. Ah, man, well, it looks like I'm out of resources for the moment, but I thought I'd show you what I have been working on here, and it's not too small. It's going to be an issue when I go ahead and hook everything up to the power grid because it will probably crash it, but hopefully we can get everything set up and we can get some fuel generators working before we crash the power. Anyway, this is the compacted coal area. Oh, right here. I have both of the balancers for the coal and the sulfur going in. I don't have all of the modules in, but it is a group of 4, like this, 4 assemblers. And there's going to be 16 times 4, 64. That's how many we needed. It was a nice even number. But yeah, the way I decided to do this was I would do inputs here, and it would get distributed amongst the assemblers, and then output would be here, just so that if I do want to, we can run them in a line like I've done down here. Let me just show you real quick. Yep. So there's a little line distributing the coal from the first section to the second one, to the third one, and to the fourth one. And then the output is in this middle here. The output will go all the way to the end. And I didn't even plan this, but it lines up perfectly with this wall right here. So there will be 4 outputs of compacted coal that will go into 107 refineries, I think. Something like that with the fuel. I'll do the math later on what the math is there. And maybe we even have more. Actually, we wouldn't need load balancers because there's already balancers at the beginning. But yeah, I'm just waiting for more resources to go into my little thing. I'll kind of show you how I do this. We'll take one of them. I have enough now. And I lock it in place with H. I line it up like that. Line it up with this one. Move it over here. Am I not lined up? Oh, it's because there's one next to me. Should be good like that. And then I just go in here and I connect these two like this. I connect this one right here to there, and then I connect the power up, and then I just make another module. Blueprints save the day. But like I said, power is going to be an issue when we go ahead and plug this up, because we will be running so many other machines that it will probably crash, and we might have to do some backup power or shutting some stuff off. We'll see when we get there. I think I showed this off. This is the giant area that we're building in, and then I have all the resources coming in from around the world. If not, there you go. This is where we're building. I've moved the launcher to up there, just so it's a little bit closer towards the center. Even if I don't use all this space today, I feel like eventually we'll use all this space. But yeah. That's where we are now, and I'm going to get back to setting things up, and I think I will get back to you when it is time to work with fluids, mainly that one being water and packagers. That one's going to be a lot, but I'll get back to you then. So I'll see you guys in a second. And there we have the water production done. I think this is everything to do with water. There should be 24 of these water machines here. There is 12 on that side, 12 on this side. All of them are hooked up. Yep. And this is the water production area. I know it looks kind of crazy, but I tried to make it as organized as possible. And some tips here, if you're ever working with water, you want to create almost like a water tower, where you have a high point that you're pumping directly into, and then anything lower than that, in like anywhere, will always have the flow rate of, I think, 300 for the Mark 1 pipes and 600 for the Mark 2 pipes. Do not take what I'm saying as the Bible or whatever, but it's just a little tip that I learned that might help you if you are dealing with water. Now, the hardest part about this is going to be the recycling of the empty canisters, because, you know, we're going to be unpacking canisters with fuel, and they will be going back through the system. So I kind of need to set that part up just so that we can maybe get a little bit of fuel generation going here. But that means more pipes and stuff with this oil over here. I was thinking that is going to go right here. And then I don't know where I'm going to put all of the refineries for the... Okay, this is the first one. No, heavy oil residue is the first one. Or fuel. We're making residue. Yeah, we're making residue... Wait, what? No, we're making residue here from oil, and then from that it's going into here, which is with the package fuel. There we go. I figured it out. So I think what I'm going to do is try to put all of the residue over here, and then the fuel packager things right here, so that the output of the fuel packagers can come over here, as well as the input can just run along here, and it doesn't get too crazy with that. And then from there, you know, we have the Turbofuel, where we just take in the fuel that we have just taken out and put it with the compacted coal over there. And so I think that this middle section here is where all the Turbofuel generation is going to go. Hopefully this is enough area for it. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. And one last thing that I complained about earlier, power. It's going to be a nightmare when I turn this on, if it works or not. So we shall see. Now let's bust it down with some refineries. I need a ton of these things. I think I need around 200 of them in total, which we have the material. I actually don't know. We might not have the steel pipes for this, but we need a lot. So I'm going to get to work on placing the refineries, and then if I run into any issues, I will come talk to you guys about it and let you know how I figured it out. But other than that, it's another hard cut to the next section. Progress update time. Let me click back on the game window. Here we go. Now this is what I'm talking about. It is starting to take shape over here in the, what is this, Turbofuel factory, I guess? Yeah, Turbofuel factory. That's what we're calling it. Last time you saw the water, I will give you a little bit of a full full tour now, and the next time you will see a full tour is before we start hooking everything up to the fuel generators. We just have one more step to do where we unpackage the fuel and combine it with the compacted coal over there, or the is it compacted coal? I think it is. Actually, that would be 2 steps, not 1. And then, yeah, we are mostly there. We should be there in a few minutes for you, a few hours for me, not too much farther. But we have all of our water coming in here. The water goes in here. I have an extra water thing just because I did some math wrong. I thought that these were only making 30, and it was a whole big deal, but I have an extra thing of packaged water. I might do something with that. I don't know. It's there. It makes everything look nice and even. You package the water. The water comes along these belts. We'll go to the farthest one. And then the water gets distributed into this set of refineries, which it's not there yet, but this set of refineries also has heavy oil residue. The heavy oil residue is coming from here, which is coming from 3 lines of maxed out oil. Yeah, 300 per minute. And that's coming from a row of 10 refineries going into a row of, well, it's technically 9 going into a row of 12. And then there's an extra one on the end that combines with all the way across 3 rows, and it combines into 1 extra. All you need to know is that it's 30 oil refineries going to heavy oil residue to 40 packaged fuel refineries. And because of that, we are able to do some little maths and stuff. And at the end over here, where all of the packaged fuel is going, is 5 belts of 480 maxed out belts of fuel. So if you do all the math, this is 240, right? Or 2400. Sorry. This is 2,400 packaged fuel per minute. Now, that divides evenly for us into 40 packagers for unpacking this fuel. Pretty nice, 60 to 60. Like each one of these is making 60. We could have even done a 1-to-1 thing. Then the math for the other stuff would have gotten harder, and so we're just going to max out the belts and then distribute them from there. Hardest part will be making the blueprint, but it shouldn't take too long. And there was one other section to this, a little bit of a byproduct that's being made. We have polymer resin. This polymer resin is going into 8 plastic or rubber refineries over here and 3 plastic refineries. Since we don't really need rubber or plastic for too much right now, I'd rather have the rubber for making the fuel powered generator, which we already have enough rubber for. It's just in case we need some extra. But yeah, that's that. I want to also run these 2 somewhere up to there, so that if I need to come over to this base for any reason, I can pick that up, because that's one of the only 2 of 3 outputs. The other output I want to have packaged turbo fuel, just so I can use it with my jetpack, because this fuel's kind of sucky. But yeah, let's look at the power, and then I'll get started wiring all of the 40 unpackagers up. You can see 10,000 so far, and we're only making 4,200. What I've decided to do is, at each stage of the expansion, I'm going to let each stage fill up. Now, this next stage that I'm about to do is probably the one that's going to crash it when we have the 40 fuel unpackagers, just because I will introduce all of the empty packages into the loop, and that will provide enough for these water things to fill up. The water things will go in, they'll be turned into fuel, the fuel will be unpackaged, and the water containers or the empty containers will head back over here to the packagers, and that'll probably draw who knows crazy amount of power. So we'll see. But you'll see that in a few seconds here. Now I get to design a packager blueprint that takes in hopefully 480. It dispenses, I guess that's, no, it can't take in 480. We'll do the maths wherever it needs to happen, but we'll figure it out. So I'll see you guys in a second. Can you believe it, everyone? The logistics nightmare that was wiring all of this up is finally over. Oh my goodness gracious, did this take so much longer than I thought it would. The issue comes down to I have 10 outputs of empty canisters that need to go to 6.5 inputs of empty canisters, and I can't sync any because I'm not going to introduce any new canisters to the system. I can't have it back up because then we're not making fuel, then we're not making power. So everything here had to be balanced, and all of the math is done so that all of these belts equally divide amongst, I think it was 6, and then the overflow of those was mathematically balanced to go into the 1/2, and then the 1/2 had a little bit of overflow, so I had to have a whole line that goes back through the entire thing, and if there's a little spot where it can fit, canisters will go. But as soon as I introduce these empty canisters I have in my inventory into this system, we should see some fuel start to be made. All right, here we go. Yeah, this gets divided, and it's so much math and division and everything here. All right, so this is going to make some water. We will watch the water go towards the fuel generators over here. So this water is going to go in. This one does not have any heavy oil residue in it. Oh, great. Why doesn't this one have any heavy oil residue in it? This whole pipe is not full. Oh, I see why. That was weird. Okay, now these guys should have some heavy oil residue. We're making packaged fuel. The packaged fuel goes out and around and gets depackaged once it has enough. This one got one. Maybe it'll get another one. Yes. It makes the fuel and the canisters go back. Okay, so this system will run until all of these pipes are full because I'm not processing the fuel yet because that is 107 refineries. It's a lot. That's going to be another logistics nightmare, but I think I'm going to just do 100. And then since I have 4 here, I'll just divide that evenly. We'll try to make it as even as possible here. But yeah, that is the fuel being made. This will continue to cycle until we get full fuel canisters in here that can't be emptied. Very slowly, I'm going to introduce empty canisters to the system because I don't want to back it up like straight away. Maybe I'll put some on this line. I know we need 2,400 minimum, so a couple hundred here and a couple hundred there won't hurt the system, I don't think. The problem is I don't know how many are in there. Too many and we back it up, and not enough and it's not enough. So I'll just let this run while I set everything else up and see if we get any backups. But yeah, time to do the second to last step of the 100 refineries. 100 refineries. 100 refineries for the turbo fuel, like actually making the turbo fuel, and then I have to figure out how to pipe it all around, and it's going to be a pain because turbo fuel comes out in a decimal point, 22.5. So yeah, I'll figure that out and then get back to you guys. Well, here it is. This is it. I would say 80% complete. All we have left is to hook up the 260 fuel generators, but that won't take too long. Now let me explain what's going on here because it is a little bit confusing. So I already showed the middle part with the fuel, right? It gets in the packager and then it goes into the packager into these pipes. There's 5 on each side. 5 of them go over here, and each one of these is 10. One pipe, oh, I'm gonna fall here. One pipe can supply more than 10. I think it's one pipe can supply 11 point something, but we'll get to that in a second, right? So we have 5 groups of 10 here. We have 1 group of 10 here and 4 groups of 10 at the top. Oh, this might kill me. Please don't kill me. And with those 10 pipes, we're going to the 10 groups of 10. So that's 100 refineries right there. We needed 106. So there is a overflow on the each end of the fuel lines that is going towards these 6 here. Now, if we start bottlenecking and we're running out of fuel or something, I will shut these off because they're not that important. It's the 100 that I mainly want to maintain, and the compacted coal, there's 10 lines here, and each line goes into one of the groups of 10. This is a 2 to 5 splitter twice. So it's 2 to 5, then 2 to 5, and so that's technically 4 to 10. And this was where I was keeping items, so we can get rid of that. I still have yet to put a belt that goes all the way up there so that I can have my plastic and my rubber right at the entrance, as well as split the plastic in half to send half of it to a turbo fuel packager so I can have some fuel for my jetpack. But other than that, and connecting the fuel generators, we are mostly done over here. Didn't take too long. A lot shorter than the last factory I built, but I still have 260 fuel generators to place, and I don't even think my schematic or blueprint thing can hold all that. I'll figure it out in a little bit. But what I was running right now was my plastic and rubber lines off the back, and I'm just going to run it underneath and through there just to keep it clean, just so that I don't have to worry about it as well. And over here, I was loading all of these up with water so that these fill up with water, but it's looking like I need a lot more. Not this one. Yeah. We're not even full on water yet. So I will continue to keep putting packages, or not packages, containers from here into these packagers like this. You know, I did it before once already, and this will just feed water into the system. The more water we get, the better it is. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wire that up, and I might show you how I'm going to do the fuel generators. I might just do it. It's been a while. It's been a long video, so I'll see you guys then. Well, everybody, that is 262 fuel generators. There is what is this? There's more on this side. I don't know the math right now. And then there's a little section here, and then there is 100 in the back. I think, yeah, 25, 25, 25, 25. So 100 in the back, 162 in the front, and they are all connected up, but they are not wired up to the grid. So if we take a look over at the grid, or one of the power poles, it's probably using my battery power. Yeah, we are using battery power right now. That is a little bit concerning, but we just have to hook this up and it'll all be done. Like, watch, we can just do that in 1 millisecond. All I have to do is walk over to a power pole, open the interface, and then just like that, all 262 power generators are connected to the system. Now you can see we're making 69,450 megawatts. My math is a little bit off here, but actually no, it's not. You know why? Because this is counting the coal generators that are making around 4,000 as well, and my projected was 66,666. So that's close enough. But yeah, this station is now working 100%. I will be keeping an eye on the fuel, because this is the only part where I'm not too sure if this will keep up or not. Yeah, we can't have these things backing up with empty canisters, or else then the whole factory will shut down. But yes, this is it. This one's already backing up. It's just an influx of canisters, maybe. Maybe I have to remove some from the system. I don't know. Either way, this is it. This is the 900 oil to all of this. 900 oil per minute over here. Just three oil things, just 3 oil nodes to all this madness. Well, I should be good on power for a very, very long time. But yeah, look at that. And then I will also be adding some battery storage over on top of that thing, probably in between episodes, just to have a little backup in case we do hit that peak one day when, you know, we get a little closer to consuming all this power, which will probably be in a while. Oh, let's go up there. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. When you are watching this, it will be the morning. Wait, I'm recording this the morning that it's coming out. Yes, hopefully. If not, the day after. But yeah, this is probably one of the coolest factories I've ever built. If it's one of the cooler ones you've ever seen, go ahead and, you know, like and subscribe or whatever they say. I don't really care. You know, they just tell me to say these things. Anyway, that is the factory. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one for manufacturers or trains. It really depends on how I'm feeling. But yeah, I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.